Let's now see the last panel dedicated to different small tools. We have options to copy the models into other Blender scenes. Fix branches that don't have the object generating the branch surface with geometry nodes. Another option to fix if the geometry nodes file is not properly assigned or broken. And a last branch to delete the animation keys of the objects forming the character. Let's see the first option, copy block surfaces structures we can use to copy the character into other Blender scenes. If we want to have more than one character, this will be a way to copy all the different objects that form it and thus maintain the relationships when pasting it into another scene. Let's see with another model the example we already did. We will use this to duplicate the character. If we want to have two witches, we will have to name them differently so that each one has its corresponding collections for the character. Let's select all the objects, and to copy we will do it in another scene. With the copy command in Blender we will have the problem that not all objects have been selected due to hidden objects, etc. To be able to do this, we have a tool in the Tools panel called Copy Block Surfaces Structures. With everything selected, we click there to copy the character. And in another Blender we do paste objects. Now we have the copied witch in the new scene. We can change the view mode and enter blocking mode. We can reposition the witch to bring another in that position. We select everything we want to take to the other scene again. We rename it as Witch 2 with the option not to rename the branches, so they maintain the branch names and only change the character name of each branch. And we use the Copy Block Surfaces Structures option again. From the Tools panel, we go back to the other Blender to paste Witch 2. We change to blocking mode. We have this second option where we can recover the objects that have the geometry nodes that generate the final mesh. This object has the geometry nodes modifier that generates the surface between some objects and others in the collection that forms each branch. So if this was deleted, we would only have the objects of the branch and we would not have the generated surface. We delete it to check it. As you can see, we only have the branch objects. To recover that object, select one of the branch objects and press Generate Block Surfaces from Collection. This way the object will be created again with the modifier to create the surface formed by the objects in that collection. Here it is. We now have the shape of the branch again. The object, if we see the modifier, it has the geometry nodes assigned and the relationship with the corresponding collection. The nouveau object created is created without color. We don't have data from the color that was assigned to the previous object, so we can give it a new color to more easily identify it. So with this option, we would recover all the objects that form the surfaces from the branches we select. Let's try it with the rest. We delete the block surfaces objects. Now we only have the collection objects without generated surface. We select all the objects and execute the Generate Block Surfaces from Collection operator. We wait a while, because this process does take a bit of time. Now we have the new objects working here. We can give them color to our liking. As we see here in the mustache, the mirror that the generated object had has been lost. We create the mirror again as we saw in the previous tutorials. We use the copy materials operator to assign the material of the active object to the rest selected. And now we have the model ready. We would just have to finish giving the colors we want to the different branches. The next Restore Blocksurfaces Objects option allows us to recover the proper functioning of the objects that generate the final surface. Let's delete the geometry nodes that generate the final surface. Now the objects that generate the final surface exist but do not work properly because the geometry nodes is not. For this we use the Restore Blocksurfaces Objects command. And thus we achieve the final mesh being generated correctly again. Like before, we give color to the branches. In this case, the mirror modifier is working properly because the object existed and does not have to be recreated. And the last option we have is Delete Animation Keys. Will help us delete the animation keys of the selected objects more cleanly. For example, if we want to leave it without animation and in this pose. We select the objects here and click Delete Animation Keys. And that's it, we have the model without animation.